You're watching Swipe, coming up on this week's show.
Who stole the show at this year's E3? I find out how students are driving the future of the auto industry. And the Mayor of London reveals his plans to transform the capital into the world's smartest city.
Hello and welcome to Swipe. It's been a big week for gamers, with E3 taking place over in LA. It's the most anticipated event in the gaming industry calendar, where all the big industry announcements are made, from new games to the latest hardware. So how did it deliver this year? Well, here's Chris with a roundup.
Xbox One X, the most powerful console ever made.
The big reveal at this year's E3 was Microsoft announcing its new console, the Xbox One X. It's able to run games in 4K Ultra HD and will compete directly with Sony's PS4 Pro, released last year. Microsoft used the opportunity to show off the latest game in the British-made Forza racing franchise. Meanwhile, PlayStation didn't have any new hardware to reveal this year, but it did tease some of its upcoming exclusives. We got another glimpse into the next installment of God of War, and saw some more of the spin-off to the BAFTA-winning Uncharted franchise, Uncharted Lost Legacy.
You know that treasure hunting is not at the risk of us, right?
There was also a new Spider-Man game revealed. But perhaps the biggest surprise from Sony was the announcement of a full remake of the PS2 cult classic, Shadow of the Colossus. There had been calls for a sequel to the original for more than a decade, so the news was welcomed by fans. Virtual reality played a part too, with gameplay demos of various titles on show. Nintendo used E3 to show off some of its offerings for the Switch, including a new Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey. It also revealed that the massively popular Rocket League would be coming to the console. But some fans will be wondering about the games that weren't on show at the event. Many expected to see more of the hotly anticipated PS4 exclusive The Last of Us Part 2. There was also no sign of Rockstar's open-world gunslinger Red Dead Redemption 2. Regardless of what was missing from the event, there's still plenty for gamers to look forward to between now and next year's E3. Chris Creegan, Sky News.
Still to come, I'll be test driving some futuristic cars, but that's right after a roundup of some of this week's tech news.
London Tech Week attracted 50,000 people to the capital from more than 70 countries. The annual festival, which showcases innovations at venues across the city, brought together startups and creative minds from the tech industry. Speaking at the launch event, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, set out his vision.
I'm appointing London's first ever Chief Digital Officer to lead on the digital transformation of our city. And my ambition is to harness the new technologies that are pioneered right here to transform London into the world's leading smart city.
Apple's chief executive, Tim Cook, has shed new light on its driverless car project. He said the tech giant is working on autonomous systems, but remained tight-lipped on whether it's building its own car. The Apple boss spoke as shares in his company and other US tech firms came under pressure amid investor concerns that a boom in the sector is losing steam. China's first virtual reality cinema has opened in Beijing. The audience can interact with the story and play any role whilst watching a film. They can also see, hear, smell and even feel in 360 degrees. It was opened by electronics company Gome, which plans to open 100 more cinemas across the country in the next year. Using a mobile phone on holiday in Europe will cost no more than using it at home as a result of new rules that came into force this week. The Roam Like Home legislation effectively bans service providers from adding extra charges to mobile calls, text messages and downloads made on phones registered in one EU country and used in another. And here's an alternative way of travelling from France to the UK across the English Channel in a flying car. pilot Bruno Vazzoli made the 59-kilometre journey from the northern French coast to the cliffs of Dover in Kent. The unique machine took off thanks to a propeller and a parasail.
Now, a global eco-marathon competition that challenges students to create the most fuel-efficient vehicles possible has taken place in central London. And in the run-up, I went to meet some of the competitors and test out some of the designs.
171 teams from 29 countries, all sharing the same challenge to build, design and drive the ultimate energy-efficient vehicle. Young engineers compete in two main categories, one for prototypes and the other for urban concept cars, ones you or I might drive.
A big component is the weight of the car, so what we've been putting a lot of effort into is eliminating heavy materials like steel, for example, is very strong, but eliminating weight is quite high cost to do that. So instead of using titanium, we found a compromise. So aluminium is the material we've used the most to try and reduce the weight of the car.
I took one of the prototypes for a spin. Made of a lightweight carbon fibre, powered by a Honda engine and with bike brakes, this one weighs around 70 kilograms. The average weight of a modern family-size car can be anything from 1,000 up to 2,000 kilograms. For the competition, it was fitted with a 250 millilitre fuel tank, but apparently only using the equivalent of about 1 tablespoon of fuel per 10 miles. The winning team achieved 2,503 kilometres per litre in this category. That would be over 7,000 miles per gallon. The idea is that the technology could one day feature in the car you drive. The urban concept car is a more practical design.
What we see here is the fuel tank, this glass fuel tank. It only holds about 50 millilitres of fuel, which is for most competitors enough to drive 10 miles of distance, so very, very efficient cars.
Its roadworthy version is capable of doing 200 miles to the gallon, but the lightweight components made it feel like robust protection was compromised.
Cars like this are designed for a competition like the Shell Eco Marathon, but individual ideas out of it, like new composite materials, like new software algorithms to drive the car, have made it and will continue to make it into the real world.
With 10,000 competitors a year taking part in the competition, it's hoped it will stimulate the students of today to become the engineers of tomorrow and help solve the global energy crisis along the way.
That's it for this week. Don't forget you can watch any of our episodes in our YouTube playlist. Just type in Sky News Swipe and take a look at Sky News on mobile, tablet, catch-up, Sky Q and Snapchat for more tech news. We'll be back again next week. Hope you can join us then. Goodbye.